What's going on, everybody? Shantae Darby here, and welcome to the Black Couch. Today, we're talking about how you can affect your community. All right, so this is a special episode that I'm putting together right now because I want to talk about how we as a community don't really take action or responsibility for what is actually happening in our own community. All right, so what do I mean by that? There's a lot of things that happen in and around us that we either don't pay attention to, or we ignore, or we feel like it don't apply to us, or we feel like if it doesn't affect me right now, then it doesn't matter, But I came here to tell you that is not true. It is definitely not true, Everything that happens, sometimes it's what we call a domino effect. Because one thing happens, something else. It's cause and effect. This happened, which affects everything else. And if you feel like you don't have a place in it or don't have a part in it, I want to just inform you that you're wrong. Simply because, let's start with voting. Okay? How effective are you and how strategic are you, or how much you think about the voting selection that you make, or the candidates that we actually put in office? Or do we even know the candidates that are running for office? Do we even know the offices that are up for election? I'm guilty of that. I don't even know. I just know elections coming up, or I see the signs down the street and I'm like, oh, this person running for this person running for that. And this culture have definitely shaped my mind into look for the celebrity who's popular, or look at someone else's views of how they think a candidate is or will not be good for a seat, and not digging deeper within my own reasoning or having my own convictions about what a candidate is and how it represents me in my community, And I know a lot of us is guilty of that. We don't, really think about how, certain offices affect our lives later on in life, or our lives in our children's life, or in our brothers and sisters' life. We don't really think about it. Prime example. I don't have any kids right now, As of today, I don't have any kids. I don't teach in the school system, but my wife does. I used to teach in private school. However, I don't know the superintendent of the school system. I don't know who that is. I don't know who's making the decision district-wide. I don't know some of the school board members or what their platforms are. These really affect your community. How? Because this affects how your kids are being educated, or the monies and the resources that our kids will be receiving. You know what I'm saying? Or different policies, because of course we got crazy things happening in school, shootings in schools, and don't think it can't happen to your school. It can happen to your school. What are the school board and the superintendent policy when it comes down to handling and navigating these issues? You may say, oh, it's the cop's job. It's the police's job. Okay, all right. So let's talk about, the office of the sheriff. Of course, we know in Richland County we have Sheriff Leon Lott. But do you know anybody else after that? You know what I'm saying? So that means we have to know the agenda even of our mayor, because he appoints a lot of these people that makes these policies. Do we write our representative? Do we have a knowledge of what's happening in our community? Because it don't affect us right now. In the future, it does. Buying a house. Different communities are kind of segregated. Matter of fact, you can take a drive. Matter of fact, where I live right now, currently stay, I can take a drive, not even a drive, I can walk. In my community, it looks a certain way. Across the street, it looks a different way. Why is that? We're technically the same community, but it has a lot to do with how the monies are dispersed between different communities. The demographics are different. How is your representative representing you? Do you have an agenda? Do you have your own convictions? Especially as us as Christians, we have to have our own convictions about, our personal belief in our faith. Of course, in the Constitution, they talk about the separation of church and state. But in this instance, we are the church and we are the state. We have a voice. If it was so separated, why does politicians come and visit us in our churches? Ever thought about that? If it's such a difference, if the church doesn't matter, if us as Christians didn't matter, us as a group don't matter, if our voice don't count, why do they come and visit us and tell us to vote for them, even though we don't really know what their platforms are? They don't explain what their platform are. They'll just take a flyer, print out all the accolades that they have, and if you can identify with them, of course they got your vote. Why? Because we're uneducated as a people. And it shows in our community. It shows in our schools. It shows when it comes down to the ballot. The things that's on the ballot we don't understand because we don't take the time to research, or we don't take the time to even Google what is happening. You get what I'm saying? Like, we don't take the time to do it. I'm guilty. So I'm along with you guys. And I'm taking a stand and talk about this because things has to change. Things have to change. We can't allow things to keep happening the same way, as in we sit back and see how the government is going to save us. We're going to, because if they don't feel like we have a direction of our people, they depend on our vote. Matter of fact, some of them depend that we don't vote. Why? Because if you don't vote, that means you're not voting against them. You're actually helping them push their agenda even easier. And they know there are certain convictions that we have because we talk about it in the streets. We talking amongst ourselves. They hear us complain about it on different social media platforms, or they hear us talk about it within our little, church group and meetings and stuff. But we don't take the proper channel and actually, write the representative. And those of us who do, we don't follow up. We don't really have a voice when it comes down to actually using the voice that we have. Okay, now that I've done all this fussing, this is what you can do. And I will be there as well. So, on June 7th, there will be a town hall meeting. That means everybody's included. On June 7th, try to get there at 6 o'clock. It's going to be effective. Why? Because your governmental candidates will be there. I think those who are running for the solicitor's office will be there, and those who are running for governor will be there. Now, not only that they are being featured there, anytime you have something this important, that they're gathering all the candidates together, that means who want to be anybody will be there as well. That means your representative is probably coming. That means your county council is probably going to be there, or the person that represents your group is probably going to be there. Your pastor should be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody should be there. You should be there. I'm going to be there, and I want to really listen in and see what are their platforms and what they plan to do for our community. All right, what is so special about this is that you guys get the opportunity to ask your questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to try to communicate with these people, because you got to remember that they are people too, and they need your vote. you may think that your voice don't count, but the fact that they are coming to Word of God Church and Ministries, which is located on Broad River Road. And if you know anything about Broad River Road, they fill with us. You know what I'm saying? It's not an affluent community. It's inner city. You know what I'm saying? So they're coming there because they feel like their voice can be spoken out among us, which we should be smart enough and intelligent enough to think for ourselves and have an input so that they know where we stand. Because essentially, they work for us. We pay tax dollars and they have to work with what we push. But if we don't have any agenda, if we don't have any idea of what's going to happen or what we can do as a people, then we are just going to be pushed aside after the election and, and fall by the wayside like we always do. So definitely, I plead to you to come on out to Word of God Church. The address is 119 Diamond Lane. Now, what this is going to do is allow you to come in and listen to the candidates, and they have an opportunity to listen to you. So it is very important for you to come ready to listen, come ready to process what's happening, and come ready to ask your questions. You know what I'm saying? Bring a friend. It's definitely gonna be plenty of seats for you to come in and really fellowship and show up. There's powers in numbers. There's power in numbers. I'm telling you, if you show up, the candidates will have a greater respect for the community. And that's how you and I can use our voices and use our numbers to actually influence and change the state of our communities right now. It just take one step. And the first step is showing up and letting everyone know that we are concerned about our community and we want to know how you can help us. And if you're not going to help us, then we can't support you. So I'll see you at Word of God Church and Ministries on Thursday, June the 7th. Try to be there as early as you can. I think this stuff gets started at 6 or 6:30. Just try to be there as early as you can so that you can get good seats and make sure that you're here and be in attendance to show your powerful voice. You are more than you know. Trust me. You are more than you know. Thank you for watching The Black Couch. If you like this video, definitely hit the like button. Please share this video. Tell your friends. Tell your pastor. Tell the congregation. Tell your fellow work members, people that work with you, people that you see on the side of the street, that there's a town hall meeting going on at Word of God. So I definitely want you to be there. The address is 119 Diamond Lane. Try to be there as early as 6 on Thursday. Get a good seat and come with questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.